G'day and welcome back to Project Twin VNT. In the last episode, I sorted out some pressure piping and I made the front of my car very wet. In this episode, I need to start thinking about an airbox to aim the intake piping at. Right, I'm ready to think about mounting the airbox, so the first step is to cut the old mounts off. This is the 2.8 airbox, previously modified, and all I need to do is change the angle of the inlet slightly. Whoops. Before I go any further, I'm going to address any concern over choking the mighty 4.2 with this puny 2.8 air filter. A major determinant of flow through a filter is total element area, so I'm going to work it out. Count the number of pleats, multiply it by the height and width, and then multiply that by 2 since each pleat is twofold. The 4.2 scores a whopping 1 square metre. The 2.8 scores 1.8 square metres, nearly double that of the 4.2, so it should be fine. To fill these holes, I need some very thin sheet metal. You'll never guess where I found some. Welding metal that thin is extremely difficult, and while I have managed to get a seam all the way around, I'm not at all happy with the way it's turned out, and I still need to add an inlet pipe and ruin it further. So I'm going to toss it and start again. Now the best material to make a custom airbox is this 2mm aluminium, mainly because I had it lying around. Just check my cut is straight. The original housing had this hump in the end of it to centre the filter in the middle of the tube. I'm going to have to replicate something similar on mine. That should work, but before I weld them on, I would like them to be centred and equally spaced around the circumference. So, finding the centre of what could loosely be described as a circle. First, draw some lines anywhere across the edge. 2 at a minimum, I've done 3. Second, set the compass just slightly over half the length of the line and draw some arcs like this. Third, draw straight through those arcs and they should all intersect at the centre. Without adjusting the compass, mark around the circle from one point to the next, and you should get exactly 6. Not bad. Now I can weld it on. I think I'm getting better at this alley stuff. Remember when I said, this bleed point is going to be in the way of where I want to put the airbox, but I'll deal with that later. Well, it's later now, and I have to deal with it. I could have plugged it, but that required buying a plug, so instead I'm just going to bend it out of the way. I'll do something about securing it later on. This is my attempt at putting an eccentric ovalization in the end of this tube. It sort of worked. One more thing. Remember when I said, I'll do something about securing it later on? Well, it's later now, and I have to do something about it. I've also moved a couple of fuse boxes and made that battery fit. This is the last bit of piping, a 2.5 to 2 inch reducing T from the air filter to the inlet of both turbos. The injector pump is back from its hiatus, so it's back on. I failed to fit the shroud earlier, trying to slide it in after the radiator, but I think if I do it in the opposite order, I might be able to make it fit. Although I have a feeling that these are going to get in the way. Only a little more needed trimming around the power steering pulley. Wrapping exhausts like this is a lot easier if you unwrap it off the roll the other way. But I managed it, and then did the same to the manifolds and fitted the oil lines. So now that I've rotated the compressor housings up to make this piping fit, my vane linkage doesn't fit anymore, so I'm going to have to make another one. But not in this episode, because I'm out of time. Making that airbox means that aside from this linkage I have to remake, I'm getting very close to being finished with everything that needs to happen under the bonnet. Figuratively. Thanks for watching.